Okay, we are live.
All right, guys, welcome to the throwdown, the laydown, the mac down, the crib table, where we're going to talk about the Brimstone briefing and the update we just received. Now we have a very special panel tonight. We have Tony Montana, aka Tito. We have the BP professor, the smartest mofo in the game. We oh crap, hold on. Start. No, the YouTube started on me. We
I'm the
got
biggest nude in BP, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
we've got Earth, the baddest mofo in the game, and we have the biggest fag in the game, Panda, and then we have Big Sexy, and we're gonna throw it over to Earth as he is the leader of this pimp table. Earth, take it away.
Well, good evening. Obviously, Ben's just told us what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about the Brimstone briefing that we've got. Talk a little bit about the prizes that we've got. A few bits and pieces to do with that. What everybody thinks on it, and pretty much just sort of hang out and chill, really. I mean, there is another couple of things that have come up in the update, like the nerf on the Strike B missile, which I know I'm definitely butthurt about because I've been ranking them for ages, and now let's just say that they're not as good as they used to be by quite a bit. So yeah, we'll just go from that. Larry, I know you've prepared some slides. Do you want to start off with those, and we'll just go through those quickly?
Yeah, I'll fire them up.
And then we'll have a bit of a chat.
Sure. So there's 3 new prizes for the raid. We've got the Grimshine's Wrath, the limited hull. We got an Apocalypse Mortar for base defense, and the Infernal Core for a ship engine. So I started with the Grimshine's Wrath, and there's a lot going on with this ship. So you have, first of all, it's a Hellhound. So it's got the weapon slots, armor slots, special slots like a Hellhound, speed and turn of a Hellhound, and a lot of the defense stats are just a little bit buffed from there. But then for this limited version, Kixeye started making some changes. They took off, first of all, they took off the turret defense and the field resistance that the Hellhound has. But what they gave you instead were missile buffs. You get the 100% missile reload, the 30% flak evade, and retargetability. And then you get 2 different kinds of overloads. Okay, so every 1500 damage, you get an overload that's a lot like a Grimshine. So you get the triple salvo right away, and you get the 30% speed bonus. You don't get the defense bonus that you have on a Grimshine. And then at 4500 damage, you get what they called an Alpha Strike. And this Alpha Strike is a big explosion sort of thing. And at range 60, it does a lot of damage and also stuns your enemies. You can see that over here. Can you guys all see my cursor when I'm moving it around?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. So yeah, so you get 4-second stun on ships and 12-second stun on buildings. And then you also get this damage field that lasts for 9 seconds for stuff that's really close range. And then, but wait, there's more. You've got incendiary missile overrides, which are sort of like the pinch missiles on Savage Kodiak, except they make little fire pools. And you also get a 50% penetrative reload field, affecting all the ships in your fleet. So I went through that really quick. There was a lot to it. But basically what you have is you have a flagship that's like the Grimshine, but buffs missiles, and so yeah, it's sort of like Grimshine and Greta Spader having a love child.
A nasty beast of a love child.
So basically, what we've got is a Hellhound that's actually a Grim and a Savage Kodiak put together with a little bit of extra just thrown in just to make it even more overpowered because, you know, that's the way they like it. So, what does... I just want to ask people what they think of it, really.
Well, go on, Tony Montana.
Okay, well, for me, it's just stupid. So how overpowerful they made the fleet, and it's also quite clear that that trend that they said that they were going to move this into a more cheap game is not going to be true, because as Larry made us clear, there is that alpha overload that happens. It's 4,500, so you want to have enough armor on that fleet to have a sort of 5 or 6 of those, which means that at least your fleet is going to be 22,500, so you can have 5 small pinches with the boom booster ability, because that's nearly the same damage like the boom booster, and with a range like if it was an Orion that falls on the top of your fleet, or at least on the top of your flagship. So for a game in which we always have blamed the people that were fighting with 5 or 6 rockets over bases, now seems that is going to be the legal way of hitting bases. 6 rockets to hit a base. So the Rocket Man is coming back into the game, I guess.
All right. What do you think, Panda?
I'm just going to pull my guard next week and play without a guard until they bring some reality back into the game. I think it's an absolutely ridiculous... The person in Kixeye who designed that hull needs to be pulled out of his cabin, taken into the street and tied to a bus wheel, and then just drive off with the bus, because, honest to God, you know, it's like... It's just... Basically, so I get the point, it's going to be one hull, and you're not going to have to coin an entire fleet, so actually there's going to be a lot more money to spend on the raid, so people are going to get it. It's 35 million. You know, we'll see this raid, how many were glitching, how many will pay for it, but those that'll pay for it will build it straight away. And that thing, I checked one out on Huggies the other day and just playing around, and we got it up to 45,000 armor, just on alone, with I think around 68 to 70% against all defense types. So I'm not quite sure what's gonna. How many overloads is that? 45,000.
That's 30 overloads and
That
10.
would be 10.
Yeah, 30 Grim overloads, isn't it?
If you can tell me a base that can stop 30 plus overloads, then show me, because it's just
10,
pointless.
But 10 of those alpha, because those 10 alpha come with 30 of the normal ones, so we are talking about 30 normal overloads.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Something crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you put this thing in front of mastodons, it's gonna just...
To be fair, you put it in front of anything that you can just leave a trailing fleet, and as that thing overloads, it's going to whack guards and turrets in the vicinity. I think you'll see a lot of different mixes. People just build that, and yeah, you're right. In Mastodons, the only way to stop the Mastodons is going to be the new turret. But again, that's going to be a stupid build. It's just going to make... It's going back to the original Grim release with Zerks, and literally nothing's going to stop him unless you put one in your base.
Well, but I don't even think putting one of these in your base is going to be...
No.
I mean, because you're not going to run right on top of it to get hit by its alpha strike.
No, right. The range is 60, so if you put it just behind your fence wall, it's not going to do any effort.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put something like this on base defense, you might as well put your Grimshine, your Grimshine Berserker in base defense.
Yeah, because at least that way you're going to get obviously the defense buffs from it. But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I think really Mastodons were they were quite a well-rounded fleet, really, with the weight constraints that you've got, and you know, you you could stop them because you had issues where there was using the Grimshine to sort of boost the power of it, but then you were losing the ability with the Frosty to distinguish the Wendigo fire, and obviously to drop the counters off on their enforcers. Or you could use a Savage Kodiak, but then that comes with the downside that it's not got very high evade and not very much staying power. But now you've got the Grimshine and the Savage all in one ship, added to your Mastodons now. It's, well, I don't know. I think I might be pulling a guard as well, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, let's just look at this. This is Howard's, right? So I'm not taking any credit for this. This is no weapons, not really thought about yet. But look at that. Look at the armor you can get on that. And then you've got your Siege Battery 3 on, which gives you 40% off turrets, your evade strike system. Look at the percentages on that there alone before you even start. That is some ship to kill without anything going to it. You've still got, what, 21,000 weight there? I can take all them strikes off, put siege on. You can make it a big hole, but shit,
I actually played with it yesterday, and I changed that. Well, I tweaked that particular design slightly, and I took the siege battery off of it, and I popped in a Jug-X and 2 fully loaded Mastodons in with that fleet, and you can build that all within the constraints of that, and you're going to get 30 overloads and 10 alpha strikes with it.
And it's just insane. I mean, that's just, you don't have to have that much armor. You can take some off, and I mean, what? Just take 2 off for now. Loads of weight for missiles.
I mean, I kind of agree with what Larry was getting at. This is going to be perfect to run with Mastodons. You could save weight to put more missiles on your Mastodons, and just turn this into a tank with maybe 1 missile on it, and just take it up and set it underneath all the turrets and the base guard, and let your Mastodons do all the work. I mean, this.
Definitely. I know we were talking about it yesterday, and in our own chat that we've got, that we were talking about this show yesterday, and we were going through it and some of the stuff that you could put with it, and I come up with a build yesterday with Grimshine's Wrath, 2 Hell Strikes R10, and 2 Mastodons fully loaded. And I tell you what, kill a fleet. I'm not sure that there's anything that I've seen out there really that's going to stop it up to now.
No, because with that resistance you can build it with, it's stupid. It's like having in front of you the famous Proto-Nemesis and 2 Mastodons on the back.
I was just thinking that. How does that 45,000 armor compare to like a Proto-Nem?
The Proto-Nemesis, I think, was something around 50,000 armor points, if I recall well, but that was with the old armors. With the new armors, I have no idea, because I have not played with that for a long while.
Yeah. Just trying to compare it to something we've seen.
This isn't an original thought here. This is probably it has to be from top to bottom the most overpowered hull we've had yet. I mean, and again, reiterating what Panda said. Just look at the defense you get before anything's put on this thing. I mean, you start off with 25% of. I'm a big fan of evade. I would probably go with a lot of evade. You could get this evade up pretty high, and the defenses. I mean, it's just crazy the possibilities, and like you all said, I'll pull my. Actually, I've been running about half the time without my guard anyway now. When this comes out, it's just, what's the point?
Yeah, they are keeping. If you look at last year and this year, you will see that they are following the same trend. Last year it started with the Hell Strike. This year it started with the Hellhound. Now, well, last year was the Vindicator, not that good as a base hitter. You can do if you want, but it's not the line it was built for. But now you have this hull that goes with the Hellhound, For example, imagine the Hellhound doesn't have missile reload, but this new hull gives the 50% reload, and with 50% reload and also the 300 salvo reload when you get into the overload, and with 45,000 30 times, you are probably going to be all the time on overload.
I mean, look at that there. That's just rough. That's 12,280.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah, easy.
and then there's your tank, 45k armor, 30 overloads. You're fucked.
Well, let's just have a look at Scotty's just popped me a build with Hellhounds with missiles on it. So let's just have a look at mine. I don't know if you can just put mine up on there to take that.
Yeah, sure.
So you've got your Grimshine's Wrath loaded up with strike missiles. Yeah, that's your resistances here. So 75 radioactive, 81 missile, 81 explosive, 77 ballistic, 30 concussive towards turrets. That's your defence there. 73.9% evade, 5 ships in the fleet doing that damage. That's
And don't forget you can still put any sort of fleet there, like the demolition squad, to do more damage if you feel you don't have enough. And 5,000 for each of the mastodons, plus 5,000 maybe more from the Hellhound is 25. When you go into that overload, we are talking about 25 by 3 times, 75,000 in the first volley, and then we know that it gets reloads without that. I think was something between 0.5 seconds, so at least you are going to shoot 2 times more the first second. So we are talking that the first second you are shooting 125,000 damage points, and we are keeping on from that.
I mean, I know they've made base modifications, but Jesus Christ, if you can't do two bases with that fleet, you know, it's just crazy. It really is. I just.
You know what I'm sitting here thinking is they didn't have to throw everything on this hull. I mean, imagine they release this hull, but only put one or the other of those overloads on there. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they didn't have to make it so freaking overpowered.
Or lowered the weight even.
Yeah.
The max weight, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, I think that there's going to be, you know, I know for a fact that hull set up right could probably take my base with the guard in it by itself.
Yeah, agreed. If you're clever about how you do it and where you position for it, and you know an alpha's coming, you just run it as close as you can as the guardian ships and let the alpha go, and boom.
Well, let's be honest though, right? The new ship, you load that up, so you've got the 45k armor on it. Yeah. You put that new Infernal Core on it as well. When it dies, it's going to do 30k damage.
Yeah, that's another thing that is silly. You put 3 of those books armors, you get 15,000 at least armor points. We know that we do double the armor on damage. We are talking that with zombie subs you can slip into the base. Like imagine River Scout engine in one of those Nighthawks, so you have that 45 speed at least without retrofit, and you can get inside of that base and just sit one of those in each of the fleets he has there, and each zombie. So you just let it surface. You do the 30,000 and it's not enough. You can go back to your base and send it back there for no damage to you. You are going to be crazy. People can start to build fleets with a sub defense. If not, they are going to be quite upset when they wake up in the morning and see that just kamikaze subs went to kill his base.
Definitely.
I think what makes, if anybody calls me a pussy for not having a base guardian with this fleet running round, then fuck you, because I'm just not doing it. You can kiss my hoop. And do you know what, A-Stig, I think you've got it right, guys. I'm going to lock gunboats up everywhere with this thing on the map. Sod it. Stupid.
Yeah, but now Panda, answer to me this: your base or any base in this game that you have been hitting, if you pull your guard and I go with one Juggernaut full of evade to distract your Wendigo, can I not do your base with any sort of fleet from last year?
Yeah.
So what's the point? If you pull the guard, what's the point for me to coin this fleet? Because I don't need this fleet. I can just get one of my old jugs, with high bait to distract your Wendigo, pinch it when I'm getting close, and then once I have passed that the Jack is closer to you than the rest of my fleet, I don't need to get any more worried about your Wendigo.
Yeah, but that takes skill, Tito, and that's a very rare commodity in this game.
What?
That's why we see these fleets, because people want to press
I think
click
that
and go, haha, you're a noob, you're a farm.
the new generations that are so spoon-feeded are so used to get all well done that I tell you, I just quit the game after seeing all these prices. But the next I see on the next date is a button when you hit the base and say 100 coins and you have flattened the base, and people just go hit 100 and say, oh, I'm the best. I just hit another guy and I smashed him, because it's the only thing missing from the game.
Yeah, then someone figured out how to glitch that.
It is getting stupid. I mean, what cracks me up is, I go out and use Reapers to go and prep base guards out, and then send in like a Kodiak fleet in behind with some drones or whatever. And I get abusive messages going, ha ha ha, you can't kill the base in one hit. Why do I need to? Why would I want to spend 50 coins repairing a fleet to hit your base in one hit, when I can send Reapers in, take no damage whatsoever, taking your base guard out, then send in a Kodiak fleet, and for 8 coins of damage, I've leveled you. Let's be honest.
I mean, we've all done it. We've all coined the big fleets. It's just one of those things. But I mean, at least some of the big fleets of old, you still had to drive it. This is just go for gold. Click back at the base. I'll see you later. Go and have a smoke. Come back. You're my farm.
Well, see, the thing is, I thought we were getting somewhere when, we had the Luge come out with the Reapers and stuff like that, and, we had the Wendigo for base defense, and things were getting to the point where you had to start prepping again. You had to think about how you were hitting bases. You had to think about using tactics in order to, counteract the effects of the Wendigo. Now we're just back to point and click again. Started with the Hellhound. We'll give you a brilliant turret, but you haven't quite finished building it yet if you didn't have a level 5 turret. But it's alright, because we've just brought something out that's completely made it completely and utterly useless.
Yeah, but Steve, you are going to admit with me that with those Reapers you and I were playing with these last weeks, even the prep has become no skill anymore, because if I can sleep in your base and there is no way that your fleet can see me, and I just need to go there and sit to kill your fleet one by one, there is no skill needed on that. You just need to. The skill is on building the fleet. After that, there is no more skill.
It's not so much that you've still got to have a bit of brain about you to be able to do it. It's not so much a case of it's like rocket science. It's not, but you still got to be able to sneak in and find places and get in to where you need to be. And some bases which you've got like longer channels and stuff like that, you're going to need to prep a couple of turrets out using the Reapers, using like a Grimshine as a lead ship, just to use as like a distractor so you can surface to get to places where you need to get to. That's where the skill in the game is, not clicking back of the base and going, yay, I win.
All right.
Summary, guys. The new hull, we all think it's shit. It's overpowered, and Kickstarter, you're a bunch of tits for doing it. And you've just basically put your game even further down the Swanee. So, good work. Well done. Great to see Mr. Harbin fulfilling his promises.
Well, Larry's going to get into it in a minute, but I've got a lot to say about the mortar. I think that's pretty jacked up.
Just quickly before we move on, guys, we all need to slow down because poor little Jess in chat can't keep up with us. So if we can all slow down. Speech.
Sorry, can I just, before we move on, from the Battle Pirates crib page, I posted obviously the blueprints for each of the prizes. I just wanted to go through just a couple of comments that have been placed on there that just gives you the general gist of the opinions on the new ship. Are you seeing this madness? Was one of them. This will further separate the masses from the heavy coiners. Lead ship for mastication fleets is not like mass fleets were having trouble taking down bases, Kixeye. Hell, my first Hellhound still has 3 days left to build from the last raid, and now there's another raid. Maybe I need to find a new game. This is exactly why I'm glad I'm quitting. Yeah, this is exactly why I'm glad I'm quitting. Cool prize, not enough to entice me with the 47 million points for prizes. Yeah, pretty much exactly what everybody's put in, really. So, yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up, really.
I bet those people play the raid, though.
I bet they do.
Right, let's see this mortar, this unstoppable monstrosity.
All right, so the Apocalypse Mortar. This is a juiced up meteor mortar. So a couple things to notice on it. It's got really long range, 160 max range. And it does a lot of damage. So 6,000 damage explosive, plus another 1,500 radioactive, plus fire pools. And it's got this salvo 4, so it's, I guess, making 4 fire pools per shot. So its shot reload time is 15 seconds. That's relatively long. You can see in the chart here I compared it to some of the others. Meteor mortars at 20. Brimstone's at 12, and then victory mortars are at 10. So, and then the other thing that makes this real powerful is this 30 splash. So it's same as a Brimstone. It's going to have a big wide area where it's doing damage. And using my, well, actually somebody else's from the forums accuracy formula, it's kind of expected to do 100% of its rated damage. Just because of that huge splash. And so when you use that and calculate an equivalent DPS, 481 DPS is really large compared to these other splash weapons. You can see none of them are even close to 200. It is kind of in the same neighborhood as like a javelin or a executioner. I mean, they're kind of in that DPS range as well. But this is splash damage, so it can affect every ship in the fleet. And then the other thing is the power. So the power 3420. A level 4 turret has 3700 power, and so that gives you 8% margin, which means you can put a special on that takes 8% power if you're not using any armor. And then on a turret 5, you can't quite do 17, you can do 16% margin. So I went down the list of all the specials you could put on the turret. Slide loader 2 will fit on a level 4 turret, and I think that's maybe your best option, because if you put out more shells, you'll get more fire pools. You could also 100%. Do a pinch resist. What was that?
I was just saying I agree with you 100% on that side loader.
Yeah. You could do the pinch resist. I probably wouldn't do one of these defense panels, because if they're shooting at it directly, they're in. If you do a level 5 turret, you could put this frontline platform XM. I almost missed that one, so thanks, Tito. And that gives you the reload, a little bit of a reload bonus, and no damage nerf like slide loader does. Or you could put the level 3 pinch resist. But yeah, I think maybe if I were to build this, I'd stick with the level 4 turret and just do the slide loader. So yeah, what do y'all think?
Did you guys get to see the video, the swag video with the base that had 4 or 5 of these? I think it had 5.
I don't remember the number, but That were a huge number, yeah.
The one with the slowest fleet in the world.
Well, it was because of the cryo effect from the Wendigo, but it tore meat. I thought. I mean, it looked really neat. I thought the looks of it was neat. But man, I just talking about the splash, like the professor was saying, those things cover a huge amount. When they hit, they cover a huge amount of space. So even if you're going at full speed and it's missing you, you're still going to get splash. I mean, you're not going to avoid it. And who runs explosive? Did that have explosive on it?
The first I see, Ben, there is that the guys that don't have the Frostburn, if the base has Wendigos or Frost or weapons with defense, the defense is cryo turrets or even enforcers with cryo launchers, they are going to have a nasty time trying to cross that, because once they are slowed, those mortars are falling on top of them. I made a few numbers, and with 4 salvo, if we are talking with the Hail V that has 4 salvo as well, and we know that if we're ignoring the penalty from the engine, it's 25%. So it means that one of the 4 is going to hit one of these. But then happens that this mortar has 85%. It has a special that is said anti-mortar, which is 85, which means that you need at least 7 hails just to stop one single salvo. So you need 28 hails to stop one of these mortars. Can you tell me how many hails are you bringing in your base hitter?
Okay, that's it. That's your Triton.
So imagine if you don't have a Frostbone, and we know that the Triton has a problem that dies fast because you cannot build it with much armor if you want to put DPS in the other ships. How the hell are a guy that don't has a Frostbone going to hit the base?
I think more so as well. Who on the panel has got a baser with explosive armor fitted to it? I personally haven't. I took all that off when they brought jabs out and halos.
I've got 2, but only because I'm me, and I've got quite a lot of basers.
You're special. But back to the normal people. Who's Tony Montana? Before you quit, have you got any?
3 Tritons, yes, I have still Tritons on my docks waiting there. But I mean, if I need 7 hails for a single one, and you put me a fleet of 3, I cannot go with 3 Tritons in the base and 1 Mastodon and that monster to hit a decent base to try something.
Yeah, I mean, you could sit there with your Tritons and you wouldn't get very far, would you? Because you'd just be you'd stop them, but that's it. I mean, I
have 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes to smash the base, and that will be likely one of those timeouts bases from the past.
I didn't die. You didn't hit anything either.
Oh, you did 40% this time. Come on, last that came was 30%. You did better. That's going to be the most common.
Don't start, Tito.
What does amuse me this time?
I don't know if this is going to make bases invulnerable. I mean, a lot of fleets right now don't have to stop very much at all to
big reload.
To get in a base. So they're not going to be taking the full brunt of this thing.
It's a big reload as well. You're right, Larry. And
Larry, it's just I personally, I really don't think I have a hull that has any type of explosive defense on it, and you're right, we're going to outrun them, but again, the area that the explosion, the whatever they call that, is you're going to get
a little damage,
you're going to get damage from it. And go ahead.
And I mean, that's why I hated mortars before, because I mean people who are outrunning mortars just laugh at them and don't get a scratch, and I think this range for this area splash is big enough that people are going to get something. So
I think the only thing to remember is this is going to hurt your Mastodon fleets, because your Masts are always travelling in rear of your flagships. So if they're triggering the mortars to fire, then that's where you're going to get the damage. And that's where people might have to refit armors on them if people have got these in the bases. But if you've got the the interceptors with launchers on, it's not gonna touch them.
It's going to be a case of like anything else in the game, weighing up what's going to help out and what's not really. Because you defend against one thing and it opens you up to another thing. You just got to sort of like be quite well rounded. But the trouble is now with all of the fleets that are out there, you can't get a properly well rounded base at the minute, I don't think.
No, you can't. There's too much that can hit you. I mean, Hellstrikes with Negotiator Morts on. You've got this new hull coming out. You've got Mass. You've got to stop Reapers. You've still got the threat of Harlock Grim, because if you take too much away, that can hurt you. So you've got to think of everything. And I think your back guns are becoming Hellhounds now. So you need more Serbs or Gargoyles, but you've got to have your turrets at your back. It's like you stop one and another gets you.
Yeah, the metagame is quite broken at the moment. There is so many things that can take your base that you cannot put all anti-weapons in your base, because that way you are not doing any damage, and at the point your enforcers are not even enough to do enough damage to 45,000 armor points over there.
Yeah, I think ideally I'd like 2 of these in my base, because it overpowers. If you put 1 Triton in, it overpowers it, and it'll hurt mass fleets. And then what you can say is, actually, I don't need all my flak anymore, because I've got that hitting the mast. Can I change some turrets to deal with the other types? Don't know. It's trial and error, I think.
See, I think like the Wendigo's pretty much going to put pay to your Grim Harlock really, with a couple of flaks in there just to stop it from killing your enforcers too quickly. So I mean, the time of like 7 or 8 flaks has probably gone, like, really. And they help a bit against Mastodons, but let's be honest, you get them at full fire rate, skull rank with some strike missiles in there. Flaks don't really touch them anyway. The only things your flaks are helping against at the minute really is Reaper preps, and let's be honest, some people that I know that have been Reaper prepping, they're quite happy to lose 6 or 7 Reaper fleets just to come in and take out a couple of your guard ships. It's just getting ridiculous.
You're never going to stop anything. Long gone are the days where you used to have a base design that would last for 3 or 4 months and broken. You're lucky if you go a week nowadays. That's just the way the game is.
Well, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this later, but what's irritating about this mortar to me is, not only do we have our weekly chores, we now we have 2 raids a month. We have the arena, which I don't think most people do, but we have the regular raid, and then we have the weeklies. They're constantly bombarding us with new stuff that changes our fleets, where it makes a fleet that's just 2 or 3 months old complete crap unless you refit it. And I don't think it's right that I spend coin on a fleet and have to refit it in a month again, more coin, and I have 14 nice fleets, minus the guard, but I shouldn't have to refit at the rate that they're asking us to, and do all the chores that they're asking me to. I mean, I won't refit my stuff, but it really takes fun out of the game.
The Kodiak's prime example of that. That is one of the most expensive fleets. It came out, it was good for a month, all with strike missiles, people spent a lot of money. The Wendigo comes out and the shit.
Yeah, and now you could prep the Warfleet and still try to do that base, but now they have fixed it at the end after that many people coined the fleet, and they now fix it. It's likely a lot of fun just to see how they do stuff. I tell you, I am in other games playing, and they do a nerf like that, because that's a nerf actually, and they refund you for all the effort you have put in that thing, to the point that you can use those coins to, for example, in another thing that you won, or just keep it if you want. But they give you a chance, and here we know the policy they have is they don't do refunds at all. And
No. And the way that they see it is that it's not a nerf, it was something which was not working as intended.
yeah, but if it's not intended, why don't you fix it faster? Wait, that is, for example, that you cannot buy coins, and you will see that 5 hours later is fixed. Three months to fix that after they have seen how many people have coined that level 50 Savage Kodiak clip with all strike bees.
Well, let's be honest, I blame Larry personally.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest, they had all the available resources fixing the glitch repair. That's why it took them 3 months.
Yeah, you may think that, but I think that they didn't sell enough Hellhounds on January, and that's the only reason that they had to put all that glitch out of the game. Not that I am happy with that, with people using it, but it was like too much coincidence that it happens one after the other.
The reason is they used the trading Q4, so they're doing everything they can to up the margin. So they cut that out, stop it. There'll be a new one in April. Just going to make the share price look good. But hey, what do I know?
All right.
See, I don't know. I really don't know what they're thinking, to be honest. How they even think that the way that the prices are going for this game, with building fleets and having to refit everything, refit your guard and everything like that, people just aren't going to do it. Because every 2 minutes you're refitting your guard fleet, you're refitting every base that you've got because things are changing in the game too quickly. So you're changing it 1 month, and then in 6 months down the line you're changing it again. You know, it's not even that now. It's like a month, 2 months, and you're changing everything, changing turrets in your base, changing this, changing that. Build times are just astronomical. There's just no way that you can keep that sustained. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And people are getting pissed off with it, and then people are leaving the game because they're pissed off with it.
Yeah, it's their choice, their roadmap. So let's Larry, over to the suicide shit.
Yeah. All right, the Infernal Core. For those of you that were familiar with the Unstable Core 3, this is a lot like that, except it promises to do more damage. So it's an engine, okay, and it gives you the same speed and accuracy changes as Engine 3, and that's also what Unstable Core 3 does as well. Same speed and accuracy nerf. But it adds 600 tons for the bomb, and then it adds an additional total weight penalty. So that's what it does. And when the ship that's carrying it dies, the core explodes and does damage to stuff around it. Now, the way these stats read, charge 100%, max health 3000. The best guess I have is that it's damage, and saying that this description, it sounds like it's going to do damage that's equal to the health of the ship, up to 30,000.
Wow.
But here's the thing. We were talking about the raid video before, and if you look on that raid video, and about 1 minute in, a Jug X with this Infernal Core blows up, and there's a Reaver Scout nearby, and that Scout took maybe 10%, 15% damage. It didn't seem like it did a lot of damage. And you got to figure a Jug X, even with D3, has like 14,000 health.
But how much resistance to the radioactivity got that chip? That is what we don't know, maybe.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I really wasn't super impressed. I had Unstable Core 3 for a long time, never used it. Some people like to put it on instant repair ships as an easy suicide ship. But with the way this death weapon charges, a low health ship probably isn't going to do much damage when it blows up anyway. So, I
Well, it looks likely with that 100% that it says there, it looks likely each point of an armor that this ship has is likely 2 points of damage. So if you put 15,000 armor points in your fleet, it looks likely you are getting that max. That is the cap. It has 30,000 armor points. If you look it in a surface fleet, maybe it's not that interesting. But as I was telling to the chat here before, imagine that in a Spectre or in a with a River Scout, with that River Scout engine changing to that instead. And if you put Engineer Great as well, and 3 of those bulkhead armors we got in the Forsaken mission, so you get the 15,000 armor points or even more because it's 6,000 something. You are going to do those 30,000. Imagine that just sleeping in your channel, just sitting under your defending fleet, and just smashing you, letting it die. I find it too stupid way to kill things. But well.
But then you're going to have to repair that sub.
No, you don't need. It's zombie. You go zombie. It says for the armor points it has. It doesn't say for the damage it got.
Well, wait, but it says the explosion scales up with damage taken during the battle. So if you're not taking damage during the battle, and if you go in zombie mode, and you're not taking damage during the battle, then
let's see, because we know how good are the descriptors in Kickside.
Yeah,
this is true.
I don't know. I'm just not impressed with this thing. I don't
think I am really, to be honest, either. Time will tell. But from what I've seen in the raid video, I'm not really that impressed with it. But those raid videos can be deceiving, to say the least, sometimes.
It's going to be one of these things. We don't know how it works exactly. They'll tell us it's working right. It'll be crap, and
but you remember when the UAVs came out and you were using power cells and you were rimming the base from those side, playing to see how much damage you were doing inside, and they told you that that was working as intended, and 3 or 4 months later they fixed it. I am wondering what means then it's working as intended if you then have to fix it.
Yeah.
Right, so we has anybody else got anything else you want to say about that or not? No. Bug fixes and tuning.
All right, I'm not going to read all these to you because that's boring. But there's 3 big ones here, and we should probably talk about those 3. I highlighted them in green. So the first one is fixed an error with the calculation being used for armor bypass across the board. All right, and what was going on, and or if you can blame me, but I didn't figure this out. There were some real smart guys on the forums that figured this out. They hang out in that strategy discussion section, and so anyway, what they figured out was that when you're getting a bypass that's listed at 20%, it was actually doing 80% bypass, which means that your armor resistance was 80% less effective than it was supposed to be. And apparently that was going on for all the bypasses. And by the way, the Achilles missile has a 50% bypass, so it wasn't affected by this at all, because the Achilles, as I've said over and over again, is a piece of shit. So anyway, so the of course the biggest thing that's affected, and you guys have all been talking about it throughout the show, is that Strike Missile B was behaving a lot more effectively than it was supposed to by its stats, because it had a 20% bypass, which meant that it was actually having an 80% bypass. And so yeah, so some people were complaining about it's effectively a nerf on these fleets that people were using and liking and had coined to get there. But me, I like it when things do what they're supposed to do by their listed stats. So I for one am glad this was fixed. Others may have a different opinion.
Well, I'm not going to argue that point at all. I mean, stuff. My thing is stuff should work as intended from the start, and from if I'm one, I refitted my Kodiak fleet with bees, because I'm sitting there firsthand watching them slaughter bases.
Oh yeah.
And I went from Z's, I think, Z's to a mixture of B's and Z's. They're like one Z per hole and the rest B's. I would not have refitted my Kodiaks that way if this had been working as intended from the get-go. And I feel like that I should get coin back because I coined it. I feel like I should be compensated in some way.
You are. You fleet shit. That's your compensation. You've now got a shit fleet, and you get the privilege of paying to refit it.
That's a funny definition of compensation.
Well,
Yeah, it's a size definition, though, isn't it?
I think it's crap. I think if you've got a fleet of Frostburns with them all on, then how can they say they've not affected that fleet? They should be compensated.
Yeah, and then they want you guessing. It's likely last month when we came with that famous Hellhound that we were all figuring that the 30 from the Hellhound plus the 40 I give with that siege battery that I won on Christmas should make 58, and it showed 40. And they say, well, if you don't see 40, man, if I see something working one way, how I can figure if it's a glitch or not a glitch? Because this game is so full of glitches that you don't know if you are stepping on shit or it's water, but all the time it's the same stuff.
Well, that's a real good one, Tito, because no other defensive stat behaves like that, right? Every other one stacks with that multiplicative math that we know about, but that one in particular, well, the siege battery overrides, and no other stat behaves like that.
Yeah, but we should have known that because it was there in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
psychic.
glitches or they missing to put something in the blueprint. It has never happened before. Likely that famous damage, as we didn't know where it was coming from the Infernal Hellfire, and then one day they said, "Oh, we forgot to put here that it does radioactive damage," and we said, that's the reason that I get in damage, and any chart I try to do, it doesn't figure out how it's happening.
Yep.
And then you try to ask to that custom service guy, and he tells you things like flags don't work with UAVs, and you say, well, then my base must be glitched because each time that somebody throws UAVs, my flags are working, so fix my base. You don't know what to do.
Oh, brilliant.
Go love it. The next one's my favourite one.
I think, which one?
The Wendigo.
The Wendigo. Yeah, so honestly, I don't understand this one too well, but the Wendigo turret has these cryofields, and the Frostburn Interceptor is supposed to put them out, and sometimes fleets that got affected by a Wendigo, the slow effect wouldn't wear off.
Yeah, and you basically drag it all the way around the base. So if you got hit by a Wendigo as you went into the channel, the Frostburn should have nullified it, but actually the slowdown resistance sticks and on the ships in the affected field. So if your Mastodons were close and you're Frosty, it would be stunned for the entire trip around the base.
Not only that, as well, the damage reduction was in place as well for the entire lot of it as well.
Yeah,
you're getting more damage than what you should have been getting.
And the reload was not being as good as intended.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: when the Frostburn is working correctly, do you get no slow effect at all?
Like partial. It's like minute of a second.
Yeah, okay. The moment it's likely when you get those fighter patches that fall on the cryo field that they happen 1 second and then disappear. It's the same for a slight of a second. Maybe you are slow, but no more. But now happened that you were slowed and it was slowed since you were hit the first time till you ended beating the base or the base was beating you. So you are never getting rid of it.
Okay.
And then you put a ticket in, send a video in, said, I lost 25 coins because this, and they went, thanks for the video.
Yeah, that's funny because I have sent videos and then they have told me, hey, could you send us a video? And I said, man, and the one I have just posted here, what it is, because at times the custom service is amazing. I love those people.
I had one the other day on a side note. I've lost my Reaper fleet twice through double battles. It cost 38 coins to repair with a Grimshine. Can you please credit me this back? We have credited you with 25 gold.
Yeah.
Something.
Hey, Panda.
That's it.
But before Larry does the last bug fix thing, does your dog have sleep apnea?
The snoring one. Ass.
Okay.
That was all I had to say.
Shut up, Rush Nuts.
All right, and the third important bug fix is Fallout armor. The Fallout armor was a little odd because it improved radioactive, explosive, and missile resistance.
Yeah,
And
it was
most
slightly.
things-
If I
most
fix
things-
with. Go ahead, please.
yeah, most of the specials that improve those stats are weighed based on armor weight, but the Fallout armor was weight was based on total weight. Those of you who read a certain blog might have found an error in the original article that talked about that even, because it should have increased armor weight, and they fixed it so that it increases based on your armor weight.
Yeah, I have a question for you, panel. Do you think that they have a quality department on that? That when somebody finishes that, somebody reviews it?
No, I I've talked about it a lot. That the Kixeye has got some issues with. They don't know what goes out the door in their software. They really don't, and it really bothers me. They have these errors, and then they fix things, and then they get unfixed.
Yeah, for me it's likely if you are working with two copies of some of the software, and you are updating in one copy something, and then you are updating the next week in the other copy with another department, and what you fix in one you forget to overlay on the second copy. So what you fixed in one in the second was not fixed, so the next week when it comes, the book that supposedly was fixed comes back into the game. But I think that some way we are paying that they fear that maybe somebody working there could take ideas to other companies, and the guys there have no idea what they are doing. And if they create a new variable for doing anything, if that has effect because maybe the other department is using the same words for another variable, and imagine that one word, for example, from 0 to 10 and the other one from 0 to 100, and then comes those effects that we are wondering how can this pass the quality service or the quality product of this, because we know that programs can have issues and alike, and we know, for example, that famous Windows that just got released and people can catalog likely 150,000 books on it, but I have never seen a game with so many issues like this and issues that you fix coming back. It's likely they have no idea what they are doing at times.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. So, Tito, that guy's. So somebody thinks your accent's Indian.
Yeah.
I can't. Just for everyone out there, just for Lee Coleman, he is Spanish.
Yeah, I'm a Spanish, and I'm sorry if my accent at times can be strong. I'm wondering how good are you speaking Spanish.
Dude, you speak better English than Earth.
Yeah, he does. I'll agree with that one. Right, so I think probably good idea for us now to just move on and give anybody any tips that they may have against the Reavers for the raid? Has anybody got anything that they want to speak about in particular? Any nice
Well,
tips?
I remember from the last ones, anything with impulse is useless, so don't even attempt that. The
Well,
shockwaves don't do hardly any damage.
well, I would say first of all, don't go the first raid rushing to get the points, because you all know that if you don't figure them, somebody's going to figure it for you how to make the raid easy. So don't spend much money the first day, unless that you don't have any more days to play it. Remember that you have half repairs, which means that each hour you are repairing likely 4 coins instead of 2. So remember that you have 4 days. That is 96 hours, and it's likely having 190 troop coins, if I made the numbers right. So you start playing with those besides what you have. If at the night you feel that your fleet is just 2 or 3 ships, but you are using 6 or 7 ships because you are using 2 fleets, try to put in one single fleet slot as much ships as you can and put them to repair. Probably because they normally take 6-7 hours on the half repair times. Probably on the morning when you wake up, they are going to be fixed. If you don't have a phone with any app that you can keep fixing ships, just go and try to put any other fleet that you have to repair, or just remove the ships that are repaired and put more ships that are broken, completely broken, into that slot and keep repairing. This way you can save a lot of money while you are sleeping or you are at work and not playing the raid. So when you come back in the afternoon after finishing work, you have at least a fleet that has been repaired on its own and you don't have to coin for it.
Yep.
Good tip.
Yep, make sure you've got lots of alcohol. It makes the repetitiveness go away. It doesn't feel like it's as long as it actually is that you sat there fighting a stupid AI.
Also a good tip.
What
Stock up on the rum.
What
So-
is that, Ben?
I don't know, I think Ben just popped out for a minute.
Noob Alicious 99. Oh, I'm not going there.
Yeah. I think the
Moving
other
on.
the other tip, I think an actual tip besides drink heavily, is keeping your fleet spread out. Was usually a pretty good tactic. I mean, a lot of times we're used to stacking them up, but all these reavers do so much splash, with the throwers and the mortars and the rockets, and so if you can use fleets that are spread out, mastodons are great. I think that really helps. Some
Definitely.
people were using enforcers and Goliaths for half repair. They were pretty pleased with that too.
Yeah,
So,
and for those that don't have the Frostborn, so they cannot slow fleets, because we know that the rivers are quite fast, remember always that engine disruptor arbite works pretty well. Build it with heavy explosive resistance for those rockets that mainly is what do more damage to your fleets from those ships most of the times, and the other for missile, because now they are using the torrent. So this way you can slow those ships for a long while, and that helps that if your base is, well, if your hitter is mastodons or alike, they have more time to deal the damage.
Also remember as well, if you aren't participating in the raid and you're a lower level or you find it too hard, get the campaigns done whilst it's on half repair, because that's going to help you out a lot with upcoming raids and stuff like that. If you haven't got the Greta nukes already, get them. If you haven't got at least a couple of Tritons, try and get them as well. They're really, 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 yeah, and the Mercuries as well. Mercuries definitely. Posted a video on the Battle Pirates Crib today, courtesy of CNC, of his Mercuries in a Drac base, 100% in Drac base, and doing Forsaken mission for next to no damage. So, it's going to help you out massively in your long time game.
Yeah.
Game.
And remember to use a gunboat or something at first, unless you are watching other guys doing their targets, so you can get familiar with what you're going to find inside.
Oh my god, total eclipse.
Listen,
Ben, is there an eclipse in America? Jesus.
Hey, yes,
Ginger
it is,
Moon.
mate.
Ginger Moon.
I'm not going to take abuse like that from chat. And let me tell you something. Next time, I'm going to pull the pants down and give you the full Monty, baby.
Oh my god. Tito, carry on.
No, I was done already. You can say your wise words if you have them, Panda.
So, one last thing from me is there's been a lot of notes around a female panelist. We thought we had it covered with Tito, but it seems that everybody feels we need another one. So, if anyone's interested, then please contact one of the guys on the show and we'll happily get you on. But yes, Tito needs company, so please support your fellow females.
I know a few guys. I mean, girls.
It's not your sisters or Wrath. Don't bring Wrath or Auntie on. They're girls.
You've seen my sisters, right?
All of them.
Oh.
They use it to be boy. That's what we used to say. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, have anybody got anything else that we want to bring up?
No, I think we'll hand over to Ben for the ending.
We already saw
Am
Ben said.
Am I ending the show too?
Yes. You know, you are the noob now, so you start the shows, you end them.
Yeah.
Let me get into character.
Ooh, I know what it is.
Huh?
Carry on. When we get done for
Can
infringement.
I talk, or are you going to interrupt me the whole time? I just want to thank everybody for coming to the Pimp Table, Round Table, Big Daddy Sexy Giant Killer Table. We appreciate you, and we want this to work out and be good and give you positive information because Larry and Irv said so. And Panda's a fag. That is all.
Okay.
Getting shit off Russ nuts.
Hey, and the shows. I assume there's going to be a show Saturday, Irv.
Friday it is.
Friday.
We're doing it
Oh,
Friday.
Damn
Friday, 3 p.m. Kickside time, which is 11 p.m. in the UK. So that's when that is. We're going to start doing Wednesday shows. Looks like we're going to try and do pretty much every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Kickside time, so that we can have Larry on with us, the prof. So yeah, just to basically, I'll keep everybody informed on the pages. I'll post a link as many places as I can post it. Anybody who wants to share the link, feel free to share the link. You know, the more people that we can help out, the better for us, really. If you're not a member of the Alliance Crib and the Battle Pirates Crib, go and get yourself a membership in there. So it's facebook.com/groups/ the Battle Pirates Crib. We'll post everything in there daily. We have monthly base hitting competition, we post builds on there and stuff like that. Chat about the game, any updates that come up and stuff like that. Get yourself involved and let us know what you think about the game, the way that it's going, and basically just share your thoughts with us. Really, the more insight that you give us, the better for us because we can bring it up in the shows and stuff. So basically,
hey, finally my picture's changed. Look out, Tito's coming. Yes.
Well, everybody does these shows. There's a lot of shows out there. We all do it to help people, and because we want, we don't want to stab kick sign in the back, but we want to help people get the most bang for their buck in the game, and the Alliance Crib is here to do that, baby.
Thank you very much.